Okay, so hopefully everyone can hear me and can see my screen. Today it's going to be me, and Ashraf is also going to help. So I'll just show you a little bit at the beginning, and then I'll hand it over to Ashraf to explain a bit more. It's Friday, so that's good. Hope everyone's pleased by that. So we have to spend our weekends inside anyway. Okay, does everyone have ARCHICAD open? And has everybody filled in the registration form as well? Hope you've done both. Okay, great. Okay, so remember how I was showing you the morph tool the other day? We're going to draw just a couple of simple morph boxes and use the scheduling to work out the areas and stuff of those boxes. So this could be, for example, at the beginnings, at the early stages, kind of more concept stage of your development, and then we'll show more detailed scheduling from doors and windows and things like this from Ashraf. Okay, so let's go into the 3D window. So we're going to model in the 3D window rather than the floor plan. So we'll just hit F5 to go to the 3D window. And we're going to get our morph tool. And we're going to start drawing some morph elements, but I can see that my stories, there's only like 0, 1, and 2. So there's only 3 stories here. So I want to add a few more stories so we can get correct areas per story. So we'll make maybe 5. So it's kind of a low-rise building. So to add some more stories in the project map, we're going to go to Stories, right-click, and Story Settings. Yeah. So we're just under Stories, right-click, Story Settings. And at the top, we're just going to insert 3 more stories. So just insert above. And we could name them all, but we won't sort of spend the time doing this. So we could name all of these stories, but for now we won't do this. And once we've created up to level 5, we're just going to select story 0 again, because as soon as the story that you select here will be the story that changes on the floor plan. So that's why if I leave it at 5, then the floor plan is going to become level 5. So I'm just going to select story 0 and click OK. Okay, so now I can see my project map. I have up to 0 to 5 story. Okay, so let me know once you have 5 story or 6 stories up to level 5. Done. Great, thanks. Okay, so now that we've got those, we can, when we draw the morph, we can snap to these stories. So like what we did the other day. So we're getting the morph tool using the box method because we're going to draw a 3D box. And I'm just going to draw a box and we'll try to make it, so just check the dimensions. We don't have to be super accurate, but obviously not too big and not too small. So maybe I need to make it kind of around 5 meters by about 10 meters. So maybe I can do this by, so we can do it just by eye, or I can enter the value. So 5, 0, 0, 0, down arrow, and 10, 0, 0, 0, enter. And now I can use these stories to snap to. So I'm going to make this one up to story 3. So when I'm changing this vertically, I can actually snap to the different stories. So you see these little dashes, and I get a little preview. So this is story 4, this one's story 3, this is 2, and this is 1. So let's snap this to story 3. And then I'm going to make another 2 boxes, and we'll classify these as kind of different uses. So maybe it's a little bit small, but so this could be kind of like part of a larger building, for example. So from one corner, one base corner of this, I'm going to click to draw another box, and maybe I can make this 10, 0, 0, 0 by 10, 0, 0, 0, so 10 meters by 10 meters, okay. And then maybe we'll make this a little bit taller. So I'll snap to the 5th story. So now I have 2 blocks. So we don't have to be, you don't have to copy the exact same sizes that I'm working on. And then I'm going to make one more box. So going from one corner, and I need this to be 15, 0, 0, 0. And then I'll make it 10, 0, 0, 0, enter. And then let's make this one up to story 4. Okay, so we just got sort of 3 blocks. Just a varying height. Okay, so now that we've got, so okay, do you have three blocks? So all we need is 3 morph blocks. They don't have to be together, but just we need at least 3 blocks. The sizes that I'm using, you don't have to use the exact same sizes, but it's good if you can at least make the height snap to the story levels. Okay, so I'll just give you a minute to get those 3 boxes. Again, they don't have to be together, just as long as we have 3 morph boxes. And the vertical height, we will snap into those story levels. Okay. So does anyone need me to repeat anything? No. Okay, Gary's got it. Okay, so with the arrow tool, I'm now going to change the color of these 3 elements, both on the floor plan and in 3D. So we're going to change some settings for these 3 boxes. So I'm just choosing the arrow tool, and I'm going to select one of them. And I'm going to open up properties. So if we remember, it's Control T to open up properties. So we're going to do this 3 times, but we're going to choose 3 different colors. So for the first one, we're going to go to the floor plan and section. And we're going to change the cover fill. So if we scroll right down to the bottom of that list to cover fills, we're going to change the cover fill pen. So we're going to change the cover fill pen to, for this one, I'm going to choose yellow. And in my model, I'm going to override the surface with a little paintbrush, and I'm also going to choose yellow. So we're going to choose 3 colors that match. So we're going to match the cover fill pen with a surface. Yep. So all we need to do is under cover fills, choose cover fill pen, and I'm choosing pen 100, so yellow. And my model panel, I'm pushing the override button and changing this to paint cadmium yellow. So now the floor plan and the 3D will be yellow. And then we're going to click OK, and great, now that's yellow. So I'm now going to change the other two to two different colors. So maybe we can choose blue for one, and then another color for the third one. So this one, I'm going to choose blue. So open up the properties, cover fill pen. I'm going to choose blue, and I'm going to override the surface and also choose a blue color. So for this one, maybe the blue is not the nicest. Maybe this blue is better. Okay. So for this one, I'm choosing pen 98. So I'm choosing this kind of dark blue, and I'm overriding with cobalt blue. Now, the first one, I just choose yellow for the cover fill pen and yellow for the surface. So it doesn't have to be the exact same one. So as long as it's a blue, the first one is a yellow paint and this one's a blue paint. So now it's blue and blue. Okay. And then my third one, I'm going to choose a third color. So cover fill pen. Maybe I'll choose the surface first because I'm not sure which colors we have. Okay, maybe I'll choose the cadmium orange. And then for my pen, I will also choose orange. Maybe this one. Okay, so this one I've now chose orange. So the cover fill pen, I've chosen 3, and the surface override paint cadmium orange. And okay, so all I've done is change the surface to these colors, and also the floor plans should have the same colors. So if I switch to the floor plan, I can see that now these 3 have the same colors. So there's a match between the floor plan and the 3D. Okay, so let me know if you've chosen 3 colors, and that if you switch to floor plan, you see the same 3 colors. So here it's a little bit dull just because of the fill that we've used. So we've just kept it at the 25%, so it's a little bit soft, but as long as the colors roughly match the 3D. So these could represent uses, for example. Done. Great. Thanks, Gary. So now that we've color coded these as the 3 colors and that the floor plan matches, just it's good to have that kind of correlation, I think, between the floor plan and 3D. Now we can create a schedule from these volumes that we've created. So if anyone needs me to wait a little bit to do this before I go to the next step, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll move on to create a schedule. Okay, so let's create a schedule. So in our project map, in our navigator, we're going to go down to schedules, and we'll right click and we're going to go new schedule. So under schedules, we're going to right click and say new schedule. Okay, so this brings up our scheme settings and also a new schedule scheme dialog. So the ID, we won't need any ID for this. So for name, I'm going to put in massing areas. because I want to know what the area and volume of these blocks are to work out how much sort of square meter there might be. So I'm just naming it. So I've used massing areas. And the type that we need, so it's a new scheme. And we have 3 types. So we have an element level, component level, or a surface level. For this, we just need to keep it as an element because I just want to get the information directly from the element. The component is at the building material level. So for example, if you have a wall with multiple skins, for example, like brick, plaster, air gap, things like this. So these are different components of the one wall. And the surface is the paint color just on the outside. So for this one, we want to keep it at elements. And we're going to hit OK. Okay, so everyone's with me so far. So all we did was just create a new element 1, and we haven't done anything in it yet. Okay. So with this massing areas selected, so this row selected, which it should be selected, in the criteria will need to determine what elements we want to find, and then the fields is from those elements that we find, what do we want to list from that selection, from that those elements. So the criteria, I have to determine what are we finding. So currently we only have this in the model, but during the rest of the day, rest of this morning, we probably will add other elements. So I want to narrow down my search to only look for morph elements. So the element type, instead of being all types, I'm going to choose a little arrow, scroll down until I see morph. And I'm going to choose morph. So now the element type is morph. So it'll ignore anything else that might be in the model. Ideally, you would set this to actually be based on classification. So you would classify these morph elements as maybe massing, and then anything classified as massing, then we can get the areas and things. But this is just a simpler case. So for now, we can just use element type. Okay, so element type is morph because we drew these with the morph element. And if we draw anything else in the future, then they will be ignored because this scheme is only looking for morph elements. Okay, so now we need to say from that selection, what are we going to list? So under fields, so we're going to go add fields. And now we're going to start adding some items. So when we click on this add field, we get this little pop-up and we can immediately start searching. So my first one, I'm going to search for element ID. And then I see element ID. I can either click add or just double click. So I think double click is much easier. So you should be able to see my list appear here. So if you're a little bit behind, you can just check this list to see which elements that which fields I'm adding to this, just in case you get a little bit lost. So the first one is element ID. The second one is going to be home story name. Double click to add this one. And sorry, give me a second. And then we're going to search the word just by, so by. And there's 2 specific ones specifically for morph. Is an area by story and a volume by story. So we want to add both of these. So go and double click and double click. So now we have the area by story and volume by story. So what this does is actually split up the morph in the background into each story. So I can actually get the floor area per story, even though it's a single morph element that goes over multiple. Question is where to set again. I'm not sure which bit I need to repeat. So I guess you're already in this dialog. All we set was the element type is morph, and then we've added these fields. Okay, so we've still got another 2 items to add. So I'm just going add fields again. And we're going to search for preview. And I'm going to add 2D plan preview to my list. And I'm also going to look up the word 3D. And I'm going to add 3D axonometry. And double click that one. And I can see that the order is a little bit off. So I actually want to move this 2D plan preview up. So I'm going to add it underneath the element ID, which we can grab this little handle or grab the name and just drag. So I'm going to drag those 2 up. So now after we hit add fields, we've added these fields. So we've added element ID, 2D plan preview, which I've just dragged from the bottom, the 3D axo, home story name, area by story, and the volume by story. Okay, so let me know once you've got these set up. We won't worry about the other settings just yet. We'll come back to those. Okay, Jessica's done, Gary's done. Okay, so now that we've got this set up, we're going to hit OK. And now we have to open that schedule. So under the schedules list in my navigator, I'm going to double click massing areas. So this new one that we just created, we're going to double click to open it. Okay, so I can see that the formatting is all a little bit off. So all the things are kind of not fitting very well. So let's start working on that first. So just so we can see things a bit more clearly. So here we just have a list of items, so list of rows. On the left-hand side, we have basically how we can set the appearance, kind of formatting. Can you make me the presenter? What is the issue, Kim? Or maybe you can open up your mic. Okay. Okay, so now that we've opened up this schedule, we just need to do some reformatting so these things fit in. So here we can see along the top and along the left edge, we can see these rulers. So we see these rulers and we see these little dashes to indicate where the columns and rows are. So for example, in the column, if I hover over one, I get my cursor changes. I can click and I can drag to resize. So I can just click and drag to resize. If I double click, it will actually automatically fit the column to the left and it will fit in the text. Yeah. So if I make it smaller so the text doesn't fit, if I double click, then this will fit in the text. But there's too many columns and too many rows to be able to keep doing that. So I'm going to use a shorter and a quicker method to do this, to kind of get this more quickly resized. So at the top left corner of these rulers, we see a little button with a ... which is called cell size settings. So if we click this little button in the corner here, just underneath the wheel icon, so this allows us to set the actual millimeter size of each of these columns. But it also allows us to set the column sizes to fit content automatically, and also fit the row sizes to fit content automatically. So I just need to click these two buttons, so these resize buttons, and then we'll hit OK, and then immediately all of the columns and rows fit the text in. Okay, so the button was just this little button in the corner here, and we just needed to click these two to resize. So this is, it won't automatically update, so if content gets bigger, then you can do this again. Yeah. So I find that's the easiest way to reset the column sizes so we can see all the content. Okay, so now if I scroll, I can see Morph 01, and I can see these are yellow, and I can see the blue one, and I can see the orange one. And I can see the little plan preview. So these are not the exact shape of the morph in the model. These are just kind of representations. So these are more useful for legends, for example, these previews. But with a door and windows, for example, then that will show you the exact sizes of those objects. But because this is a morph, then the sizes are not actually stored inside the settings dialog, for example, because it's I modeled them in the 3D window, so these just show me a representation of the elements. Okay, so I can see the morph 1, morph 2, and morph 3 at the end, but these names are not so useful. So let's rename those. So I'm going to click in one of the yellow ones, so the element ID, I'm going to click in one of the morph ones, so the morph 001. I'm just going to select the text, and I'm just going to call this yellow building, and now I can see these three got updated to yellow building. Okay, so maybe building was too big, so maybe if I use block. Okay, so even though these three rows are actually one morph element, but ARCHICAD is splitting it because it goes over multiple stories. So this is why we had, so if we scroll across, we can see that this is 50, 50, and 50 square meters per floor because it goes over multiple floors. And I can see the volume is 150 for each. And then I can see my blue ones then have a different size, and I can see the orange ones also have a different size. Okay, so having a look at this, so I've renamed to yellow block, and let's do the same for the blue and the orange ones. So I'm going to click in the morph 2, so one of the blue, the element ID. I'm going to rename this one to blue block, and that's changed all of those. And then I'm going to scroll down to the last morph. So you can see that even though I'm in an interactive schedule, I'm actually editing the details of the elements in the model. So now we'll do it for the third morph. This morph 3, so the orange one, orange block. And so now that's renamed. So it's just renamed the element ID for the yellow one, the blue one, and the orange one. So let's see what I actually changed here. So I edited these values, but what actually changed? So if I go back to my 3D window, and I'm just going to select, for example, one of the orange ones, I'm going to open up its properties. And if I go to the classification and properties panel, I can actually see the ID is now changed to orange block. So we've edited this detail not directly from the settings dialog, but we edited this information directly in the schedule. So it's all linked to the same data. Okay, so now I'll go back to the schedule. Okay, it just reordered because it's ordering by blue, orange, and yellow because of the naming. So that's just why it reorganized, because we've set it to say sort by element ID. But I don't want to see these names being repeated 4 times. So I don't want to see blue block 5 times. So let's make this a heading. So let's kind of merge these a little bit into a heading. So if on the left-hand side in the formatting options, we're going to click this show headline. Yeah. So we can also merge uniform, but there's nothing uniform here. So these 3 morph elements are different. So we're merging won't do anything. I think Ashraf will probably show this a little bit later, but we're going to go show headline. So it's going to tick this, and it's going to get the first column as a headline, so it won't see the repetition of this. So we can change this under edit, but automatically it will choose the first column to set as a header. So all we did was click show headline. So now I can see that those 3 are headers, so that's great. And I also, if I scroll across, we can change the scale down the bottom here. So here we can set a zoom factor. So how far do we want to look into this? And this little button on the right side will fit the width to the visible area on the screen. So this is quite useful. What is the reason my column and row sequence are different than yours? So the element ID, 2D plan preview, 3D plan. So the order of these columns is based on the scheme. So we're going to go back to there and make some changes, because I can see I actually want my home story names to sort the other way around. So I don't want to go from ground floor to 4th. I want to go the other way. So I want to change the ascending, descending order. And I also want to create some totals here, because I see the values, but I don't see any total. So let's modify the scheme settings to start modifying this data a little bit. So in the top right-hand corner, we're going to go to scheme settings up here. And this will open me the same dialog that we created these fields. So we just need to make sure that we have the settings in the same order. So element ID, 2D plan preview, 3D AXO, home story, area, volume. And I mentioned that I want the order of the home story names to be reversed. So home story name, I see here. And my first column is the ascending or descending order. So I'm just going to click the arrow so it's pointing upwards. So therefore, that's going to change the direction of the ascending, descending. Yeah. So this first column are the sorting. So it has 3 states. It has 3 clicks. So one is off, and then down or up. So I want the home story name to be pointing upwards, the sorting. And I want to create some totals for the area and the volume. So if I click on the area item, then the second row is the sum, which also has 3 states. So if I just click once, it's going to show me the little sum icon, which is great. If I click it again, then it's going to be the sum with a 1. So this means that it's going to find how many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to create a 5, for example. So I don't want a quantity. I want an actual total of these values. So, and if I click again, it turns this off. So I just need to do 1 click to be sum, and then volume, just click once and also create a sum. Okay. So we should have the home story name reversed order, so the arrow going up, and the area and volume should have the sum icons. Okay, but I also want to create a subtotal. So per morph, I want to create a subtotal. So not just a total at the end, but I want to create a subtotal as well. So we can do that as well here. So I want to create a subtotal based on the element ID. So per element ID, so these names, I want to create a subtotal. So I'm going to go to element ID, and my third column, I'm just going to click, and this will flag this one to indicate this one will have a subtotal. So the element ID has the flag. There can only be one flag. So if I click anything else to be the flag, then it will move it. Yeah. So there's only one flag. And I've set the home story name to be going upwards, so that the order is changed, and the area and volume both have some symbols. Okay, so that was quite a bit there that we had to modify, and then we'll hit OK. Okay, and now I can see I have my stories going the other direction, so from 4 down to ground. I can now see there's a subtotal here for the blue, orange, and yellow, and I can see there's a total, grand total at the base here. So let me know if any questions. No questions. Okay, thanks, Gary. Okay, so I can see I need to do a little bit more formatting as well. So, for example, the alignments are a bit off. So if you select any of the values, and in the left-hand side, it tells me that apply format options to, so value. So anything that I edit down here will apply to anything that's classified as a value. So all value type fields will be affected by what I set here. So I need to change this, and I'm going to change, so I keep the text style pretty much as it is, but I want to get the alignment not from left, not center, not right. I want the last one, which is to decimal. So I want to align the decimal points, so that's much better. And then I'm going to select the other column and change this also to align to decimals. Okay. I want, if I select a total, so one of these subtotals, then I can see I'm applying this to total, and it depends. So if I select, for example, a non-value, so so if I say the story, then the decimal is disabled because it doesn't make sense for a story. So I have to click on the value, and then it's enabled. So it only enables if there's an actual value, like a meter value. Yeah. So depending on where I click, then the settings on the left-hand side will change because it will show me based on the selection. So not of the cell, but of the type. Can you change the default format? Yes. Also with the text style, you can access your text favorites. So if you actually have favorites set up in your text tool, you can actually access them here. So you don't have to keep changing all of these values. You can also, instead of applying it directly to individual pieces, I can actually say entire schedule, and I can set these values, for example, like the font size, etc., for everything in the schedule. So you don't have to do it individually one by one. So this is also another method. Okay. So we want to make the totals bold. So I'm going to hit bold. And then the grand total, I'm also going to hit bold for this. So this will change all of the grand totals. And I also want to change the row heights of these totals, so there's a bit more space. So under the total row height, I'm going to change to say 10. And then for my grand total, also make 10. Just to give it some breathing room. And I can see I don't really like all of these lines. So I'm going to set under border, I'm going to set these not to all frames, but just the horizontal. I'm going to select the others, also change to just horizontal. And the previews also to horizontal only. And for my headers up here, I can actually multi-select these. So holding Shift, change those to bold, and also horizontal. So I can see now once I've made them bold, they don't fit. So I just need to change the row height. Okay, so that's better. So I can just reconfigure these a little bit. I'm going to make my plan preview a little bit narrower, so a little bit too much space there. So I'll do this just with the columns. Okay, so with the heading, you can actually rename these. So by default, it places the information from the field name, but we can easily edit this. So for example, instead of calling it 3D axonometry, I'm just going to call it 3D axo. And maybe the other one, I'm just going to call it 2D. Yeah, so we can edit the names here. Okay, so if I do click on these previews, Ashraf will show a little bit more detail about this. These are actually to scale, so these are actually 1 meter by 1 meter blocks and 1 by 1 by 1 cubes for here to create these little previews. So here I can actually set what the scale is of these previews. If I don't care, I can just say to fit, but it's usually better to say that it has a fixed value. But it makes more sense once we get into the door and window schedules. Okay. So once I've set everything up how I like it, there's no settings for, say, background fills. So there is no background fills in ARCHICAD schedules. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also the total values will always show you the units. So that's not configurable to be able to turn this on and off, or to turn it on and off with the values themselves. So this is kind of hard-coded of whether it shows or not. Okay, so I'm just going to make one change in the model, and then let's see what happens to our schedule. So let's take, for example, the orange block. So I'm going to select any row, so any cell within the orange block. So if we select any cell within the orange block, so for example, one of these stories, in the top here, I can actually show this element in the floor plan or in the 3D window. So I want to select this morph in the 3D window. I'm going to click that one, and now it's going to zoom to it and select it. So this is a super easy way to find your elements in the model. So I just selected one item in the orange block, use this show in 3D or select in 3D, and now we'll zoom to it and find it in the 3D window. So I find that super, super helpful. Okay. So in the 3D window, I'm just going to offset one of these edges just to make it tapered. So hopefully everyone remembers how to do that from the last session. So with this orange morph selected, I'm going to click on this long edge. And then from the pet palette, I'm going to use the offset edge. So the third icon on the top row. And I can see that it's now using the vertical plane. But if we remember from the morph session that we did the other day, I want to be able to use the horizontal plane, not the vertical. So in my toolbar at the top, I just have to switch to the horizontal plane. And now I can edit along the horizontal plane. So I'm just going to move that edge in. So it tapers on one side. And then if I switch back to the schedule, I can see now my orange block. Then it's actually the top story is only 107, then 122, 135, 150. So this is live updating based on what the model has done. And I can see my volumes have also updated. So here we can pretend that maybe these are like uses, building uses. Okay, so any, and can you repeat this step? Which step? The showing in 3D. So I find whenever you select something in the schedule, showing in floor plan in 3D, I find these buttons very, very useful. The orange block. Yeah. So all we did was select the orange block, click on the edge, use the offset edge command in the pet palette, and to make sure I'm picking the right plane, I just chose horizontal plane in the toolbar up here to make sure I'm on the horizontal plane, and I just offset this inwards a little bit. The floor areas are at the cut floor. I think the calculation, yes, I think it's exactly on that floor plan. So I think that's where this calculates from. I think at the floor plan itself, I think. But I think to get some rough areas of your model, so if you're using Morph, I think this is a quick way, because otherwise the alternative would have been to actually divide this per floor and then work out what the footprint of each of those are. So it's really cool that I think that ARCHICAD has this ability to kind of split it in the background for you per story without you having to actually physically cut it. Okay, so any questions? Otherwise, I'll hand over to Ashraf if he's still available and if he's ready. Maybe Ashraf, you can also just let me know if you're ready. Can I add text into the schedule? Not so. This is basically reading information from your model. So the only information you can customize here. So I can customize the data within the element directly in the schedule. For example, we changed these element IDs directly in the schedule. I can't now purely because this is a headline. So if I uncheck that, I can edit again. And because this is actually listing data of the element, so I'm showing it's a direct link to the element itself. And I can edit the names of the headers, but I can't necessarily just add some custom text in here that's not linked to the element. And so here you probably want to write the word total, but these, because it's coming from the model, then I can't edit these cells. So if you need to add like a little label, you would have to do this on the layout. So once I've created the schedule, Ashraf is ready, great. Once I've created the schedule, I would create a view. So I'd create a view of the schedule and then place that view onto the layouts. So similar as you would with a floor plan or another view. If you export to okay, sorry, I'll show the scheme settings. Yeah. If you export to Excel, are the 2D and 3D graphic items? I think so. I usually don't include these little previews, and I don't usually export these to Excel. So usually with Excel, I wouldn't have previews in it. That's just because I usually don't need them for Excel. So I would have to try that. I'm not quite sure what happens to these previews when you export. You can add custom text. If you want some custom text, you can actually add a field. So custom text, and this will add a new column. Generally, I wouldn't, so if you want to add some like description fields, I would add a property. So I would actually create a property that is linked to these morph elements, and I would add the text inside the morph element. So the morph element is holding that information. And then my schedule is then reading that information from that morph. Because you don't really want to have custom text just in the schedule, like you want to have it embedded into the objects. So if you ever make another schedule, you'd want to reuse that information. So it's all linked together. Okay, so I'll hand over. So if there's nothing else from me, I will still be here. Can we add another measurement unit? Yes, we're wondering when that question was going to come up. Yes and no is basically the answer. So these calculation units are based on, yes, Ashraf is smiling. Yeah, we thought this would come up. Because generally I've only ever heard that from Singapore and Malaysia, because generally it's a metric, but sometimes you have to show metric and imperial. I think every other country would show one or the other rather than both at the same time, it seems. Okay, so the units are coming from calculation units and rules. So under my project preferences, so my area units and volume units are being calculated here. So because of the schedule. Yeah. But if I want a second unit, I kind of have to trick ARCHICAD a little bit. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do this. You don't have to follow along because it may be a little bit more advanced for you guys. Also, if somebody could type in what the conversion is between meters and feet, I think I have to multiply feet by 10 something. So if anybody knows what that conversion rate is, can you just type it in? I think it's, I have to multiply, yeah, 10 points, okay, 10.7, great. So we need to go to Property Manager, and I'm going to create a new property, and I'm going to call this Areas in Feet, and click OK. And I'm going to change this to an area-based type, because I want to do the conversion of the areas into feet. So I'd need to make another one for volume, for example. So I've got a new property that is called areas, and the data type is going to be area, because these are areas. And I want to make an expression, because I need to do the calculation of this value times by 10.7643. So under my property, I need to go, so find this area by story value, which is the one here. So I want to get this, say, 50 square meters, and I want to multiply that by 10.7643. So this does the conversion. Click OK. And I have to make sure that this property that I've created is going to be available for morph elements. I'm just going to choose all for now. But obviously it would be better to do custom, because I don't want this available for every single element in my project. I only want it for morph, but for now I'm just going to choose all. And I'm going to click OK. And now that information has been added to the morph. So now it's been added to the morph, I can extract it into this schedule. So I'm going to add that field. And this is the new property that I just made. So this area is in feet. So I'm going to add this one. And I'll just move it up so it's underneath the areas. So the ARCHICAD one. So this was the custom one we just created. And I'm going to go OK. And now I see this column of the areas in feet. Okay. So this is how we can show basically 2 units. Yeah. I can also add the sum. So because I'd set this to be an area-based property, this is where there's a caveat, there's a problem. So if I say this custom one that I made, I also want a total. And if I go OK, then it creates a total, but unfortunately it shows you meters squared, because this is the units of the whole schedule. So this is obviously wrong. Unfortunately, we can't remove it from the schedule. The only workaround so far that I've known is you have to block this out on the layout, which is a little bit funny. But I think the more important thing is that we can actually get the values here as you wish. Just that, unfortunately, it shows the units here, which is incorrect. You would normally do this in Excel. Yeah. So I find doing the conversion in ARCHICAD pretty easy. So creating that property and just converting it. The main problem, I think, is just having the total units here, which is not right. So ideally, it would be good to be able to just turn this off, but we don't. Okay. So yeah, this is how I would do it in the schedule. Okay. Any further questions? Otherwise, I'll hand over to Ashraf to show you a little bit more detail. So this is more at the concept stages, but it gives you a little bit of an overview also how to create a schedule. Okay, so I'll hand over to Ashraf.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear. Yes, thanks.
Okay. Okay, thanks, James, for your session. It's a good session. So, yesterday we already discussed about this thing. Maybe later we can highlight to the HQ about maybe we can custom the units.
Yes, I
So
have
we
actually
can
I
do
have
that,
actually
yeah.
mentioned it to our headquarters, so
Yeah.
they're aware of it.
Okay. So we want to keep everything as best as possible to be automate, as you don't want to edit something that is if something change, then we need to do again. Okay, so are you ready to pass the session to me, James?
Sorry, say that again.
You already passed the session to me, James,
Yep,
or you want to
your screen
add?
is being broadcast. So
Okay, nice.
thanks.
Okay, thanks, James. Okay, let me check. Okay, so you guys still get it right? Okay, now you want to move a little bit further. Now I want to create some rear building. From here we will create our own schedule for the doors, window, maybe another things like the wall area or the floor area. So we start from, I think we better start from the scratch, or we can use this the same ArchiCAD file that we have now. Maybe I just move to another place. I just move to outside here. Okay. Okay. Now, based on our last tutorial, if you remember, I want to create some grid line as our guide for our model for building. So you just click the design grid system and make sure you tick this both too because we want to see the dimension of the grid. And under the grid element, just click that one. I want to, because the default one should be the solid line. I want to change to this double dot or maybe triple dot, triple dash. And then just after that, just click OK. And we just use the grid position as a normal distance. This is the default one and click OK. Now I want you to put to the grid to maybe this as a reference line there. Just click there and lock the the axis to x-axis and click. Now you have your grid line already. Can everyone follow this step? Okay, I just repeat one more time. Just go to the make sure you go to the floor plan first. To go to floor plan, either you can click in the in the apps, or you can just click F2. Automatically we go to the floor plan. If you remember, the shortcut to to go to 3D view is F5 for Windows or F4 for Mac. And if you want to go back to 2D, just click F2. So it will go back to 2D. And then just click this design. Go to the grid system. Okay. In here, make sure you tick this both dimension line and total dimension, because I want to see the dimension of the grid. And on the grid element, just click this grid element settings, and make sure you choose the triple dash as a line for the grid. And then click OK. And click OK again. And put ARCHICAD. Normally, if you click, or this is a default settings, if you go to the specific point here, it's like a snap. It's like a magnet. You can automatically go to the point there and click one time. Now you can move your grid line to the x-axis. Hold shift to lock the x-axis and click again. Now you have your grid line already. So can you follow, guys? Okay, nice. Okay, now from here I want to create brick wall first as a the first step when you want to do your design. So I just click this wall tool, double click this wall tool. It will go directly to the setting. I want you to do something first before you modeling your brick. Make sure you choose just choose this double plaster as a building material of the brick. Okay, and then under okay, structural function, you just set as a non-load bearing element, and position, choose exterior. Choose the exterior as a external for the external wall, and click OK. Today I want to create a simple building for us to understand how we can do from how we generate the schedule from our model. So make sure the geometry method, if you hold this geometry method, you can see they have 4 type of geometry method that you can choose. Just choose this rectangle one, the straight geometry method, and then I want you to click from the grid E1 to A5. Before that, I forget to say that. Wait. Go double click the wall back. Make sure you choose this as a core outside face. After you choose that, click OK and repeat again. Just click from here to here. Okay. try to do that first, guys. Let me know if you already done. Okay. Okay, now I want to go to the next step. Now double click again your wall. And now this reference line. Okay, I try to do again one time. Okay, make sure we start from the external wall first. Just double click the wall and make sure you choose this double pasted as a material for your brick wall, and the reference line, choose the outside face. This outside face. Okay, and then under the ID categories, under structural function, choose the non-load bearing element and position change to exterior and click OK. Then you can, under geometry method, make sure you choose this type of geometry method, the third one. After that, you just click the E1 grid to A5 and click again. Now you have your wall already. Okay. Can I move to another step? So everybody can follow? Okay, nice. Now I want you to double click back the wall. The wall to double click. Okay. Now, because this is a standard, when we do your model is supposed to be like that. Why I put this as a like this one as a column, because when we have let's say we have the setback, right? Let's say I just choose one of the line there, maybe this one. This is for reference only for you to understand. I just choose the. Usually I have my own pen set, so but it's okay. Let's say if now we have this setback, right? Okay. And then I just select the line, double, two, if I'm offset this, let's say as 3048 axle boundary, so we can see now the wall should be not in the center to center. It's supposed to be inside of the setback. Then you will get your correct setback from the boundary line. That's why I use this external wall as to be outside face for the reference line location. Okay, now we move to the next step. I just redo back, just to undo. Okay, now I want to double click this wall. Before that, what you did for offset, I want to show Mr. T. I want to show to you that why I set this as a the external wall as the core. The core of the wall is outside space because of that. Because we want to achieve the at least 10 feet setback from the boundary line. If we put at the center, it's supposed to not to be achieved that height, that length. This is for showing purpose only. Okay. So now I want to create internal wall for our building. So just double click the wall again. And now I want to, under reference line, I want you to choose this to center. As a center. Okay. And under position, make sure choose interior. And click OK. Okay. And then I want you can create your own, building, but I just use a simple one for us to understand. And then under geometry method, I just choose this single line, the single straight line. Okay. And now you can move your wall there and put to this from now I just put from E3 to A3. Just put to here. Make sure you click under the exactly A3 line there, the grid A3. Okay. And then do again. Maybe I want to put the same wall from B1 to B5. Okay. Can you guys follow that? Do you have any question? Hi Gary, can you follow that? Okay. Yes, okay. Nice. Of course, this is a simple model only. We just want to understand the fundamental of the schedule when we do the scheduling. Okay. Now, before we go to the next step, I forget to do something, but it's good for us also if we want to set that, because now if you can see now, if I move to another, wait, if I move to another floor, let's say I want to go to the first floor, right? Good. Now you can see the grid line is missing already. This because I forget to to set something in the grid to show the grid to all the level or floor level. So how to do that? You just make sure click the under this more, click this grid element tool, and after you click, just hit Control A to select all the grid only. Okay, then after you select all the grid, go to the setting of the grid. Just Control T, and under show on story here, select all story. Then click OK. Okay. Now if I move to, okay, they have a shortcut, or of course you can click here. So you can click in this pop-up and navigator, and click what. If you want to go to the first floor, you can click first floor. So you can see your grid line already. And if I want to move back to the ground floor, just double click the ground floor. I can move back. But they have a shortcut actually. You want to move up or move down from your floor, just click Control up or down. If you want to move to next floor, you just Control up to the, it will automatically go to the next floor. You see? Yeah, that's first floor one. If I want to go to the second floor, I just Control up again. You go to the next floor. If you want to move back to the, to the ground floor, I just Control down to go to the and control down again. You can go to the ground floor. So that is a shortcut. Okay. Now you can see now in ground floor you have your wall already, right? But in the first floor, don't have wall yet because we're not modeling the wall yet. But you can see the grid line already there. Okay. Now we go to the next step. I want you to create maybe a simple windows. Okay, just double click the window. And then choose the, maybe I want to choose this double window 23. Under ID, you can see now the ID is the default one of WD001, right? You use the default one first. Okay, just click OK. Now I want to put my window to this place. Just maybe I want to be this as a reference. Okay, and then let's say I want to put this from the wall 300. I'm going to just put as a again. Make sure you scroll to close to the reference line there, and just put your window there first. This is opening, it's okay. I just put like that. You just use the default one. Okay. Can you guys put your window already? After put, you just select the window. Okay. Sometimes I know we have some difficulty to select the window because they have two different elements here, the window and also the wall, right? Okay. So tips how to click that window easily. You just make sure you go to any end of corner of your window there and click. As you can see now, they have a point dot there, the black dot there. This is a hotspot. If you know the hotspot already, if I want to click the window again, I just, you see, if I move to this hotspot, automatically we select the window. So it's just basic principle. When you use ARCHICAD, you must do that way for you to easily select your element. Okay, now I want you to use multiply. After you select this window, just either you can right click and move multiply, or you can just use shortcut Control U to multiply. Okay, then I want you to use this distribute. Now I want you to make another three copy from the same windows, and I don't want to rotate or do a rotate. You just click untick this split path before input and click OK. Okay. Now I want to go to this hotspot. Click again, and when you move, put something like that. Now I have total 4 windows already. You guys can follow that. Try to do by yourself. You can create your own windows also. It's okay. Let me check. Okay. Guys, you guys can follow. Okay, nice. I want to create another type of window now. So double click again. Under window tool. Okay, I want to choose maybe this vertical multi-sash window 23. And then hit OK. Click OK. I want to put this under this place. Before that, the anchor point, I want to choose at the center. Okay, put to here. And the opening maybe like that. And I want to put this place also as a, the windows to each corner. Okay, like that. Then I want to now I want to click the door. I want to put my door. Double click the door. Okay. Choose. I want to choose maybe just this door 23, and I want to put here like that. Okay. And also maybe here. And also here. Okay, another tips and trick when you do your modeling, you can now I want to change this type of door. I just select the door again, go to the setting, and I want to change the door to the double door 23. Then if you click again, it will completely change this single door to the double door. Okay. Okay. Did you guys have your own door and window already? Maybe I want to create another wall inside the building there. Okay, just click this the wall tool. Make sure you choose the single line method and center to center. Structural double break double pasted. Okay, I want to create some thing like that one from here to here. That's an internal wall. Maybe I want to move a little bit this window to this side. And then double click this door again. I want to choose empty door opening. Maybe I want to use the rectangular door opening. It's like opening only, don't have any door, but it's still under the setting, and I want to put to this place. And also here. Okay. Okay, now I want you guys to select the wall at the center and click this trim button, hold space, and click this area. So it's supposed to automate cut your wall there. Of course, it's just a model. At the end of the day, I want you guys to have, your model of your building. So after that, I just click this wall and Control A. Click the okay. Can you guys follow that? Do your own building. Not exactly like my one also can. Before we go to the next step, I'm a little lost at removing the internal. Okay, I repeat again. This is it's like tips and tricks, when you do your modeling. Okay, let's say I want this wall. I want to trim this wall only, because now the default one is supposed to be the straight line like that, right? Of course, you can do manually, put your point, something like that, put to here, and after that, move again to this, like that. You can cut also, but they have a shortcut to trim your wall. How to do that? You just click the wall there and select this trim. After that, hold space and click this area. Automatically, we cut your wall. Can you guys follow that? Okay, nice. Okay, this is just for example only. Okay, now I want you to click the slab here. Double click the slab. Okay, this one I want to use under building material. I want to choose the concrete floor insulated with 10 millimeter tie. This is default one. As you remember, we can create our own building material, but that one is another cost later. I think Zai already highlight about this, right? Okay. So choose this concrete floor insulated with 10 millimeter tile. Then, okay. This is how to do opening. Okay. The opening actually under door tool. Double click the door tool. And you can see list of, the type of door there. You just click this empty door opening and click rectangular door opening 23. Click OK. Then you can put your opening for any wall that you want. Okay. Now we go back to the slab. Double click the slab. make sure you choose this building material under concrete floor is selected with 10 millimeter tile and click OK. Okay, now I want you to click from E1 to E5. Similar that when we done for the wall, but make sure under geometry method, choose this type, the second one, the rectangular. Okay, click this one and highlight to here. Okay, if I hold shift, if I click this slab, let's say Control A, you can see now that I have my own slab already on my floor. Okay. Now, everybody can follow that. We go to the next step. Okay, you can check your building. Just hit F5, click F5, or will automatically go to 3D view. And if you click F2, you go back to your floor plan. Or in Mac, you just click F4 to go to 3D view and F2 to go to the floor plan. Okay. Now I want you to select all the elements except the grid. You want to copy this floor and slab to the another level. Okay, there are multiple ways to do that, but I want to just click this slab and Control A. Automatically it select all the slab that you have in the project, and then click this wall and Control A again. It will automatically select the wall. Now you already select both wall and slab already. Okay, now I want you to Control C to copy the wall and slab. Okay, after that, how to go to another floor, to the first floor, I can, if you remember the shortcut, Control up. It will automatically go to the another floor. You see, first floor now. Before that is a ground floor, and Control V to paste. Okay, make sure after you click Control V, make sure your mouse must be outside. Go to outside, not inside. Outside from this, the area, and click Enter. You can paste anywhere. Automatically find the same place from the ground floor. You will go to the original location. Yeah, you can select if they have pop up with something, you choose the original location. You want to make sure the wall will be similar in the same coordinate. No, it's okay. Just click the original location. Yeah, it's normal, Jessica. If pop up with the choose you just choose the original location because you want to put the wall to the original location. Okay, now if I go to my 3D view, click F5, I have a two building already. See like that. Okay, there's some error here. It's okay, we just ignore that. Okay. Now I want to create my simple roof. Make sure you are on the floor. Have voice. Let me check where it's coming. Oh, Miss Ji, I think your audio is on now. That's why there's some voice from your PC. Maybe we can close that. Okay. Okay, just click this roof. I want to use the default, no? Make sure choose this construction method as this one, and the geometry method under multiplane. Okay. Of course, you can set as we know that we can create our own surface, but we don't want to focus for that things now. So you can click like that, point to point to create your roof, or if you remember, we can use our Harry Potter magic wand. Go to this near to the external wall and hold space and click. You can create your own roof also. And if I go back to 3D view, I have my simple model of my thing already. Okay, I go back to 2D. Okay, now I want to move to the ground floor. Control down to go to the ground floor. I want to move. I want to delete this wall. Just select and delete. This is a simple design. Okay, something like this one. Okay. Okay, now I want to go back to move to first floor, control up to go to the first floor. I want to add more windows. Double click this window, and I want to use maybe this triple window with side transom 23, and click OK, and to put to here maybe at the center, and here. Okay. If I click F5, you can see your model already. Okay. Ignore the design, it's weird, but it's okay. Because we want to show how we gonna create our own schedule from this building, right? Okay. You guys have your own building already? 8-car garage. Okay. You can put your car also if you want. Guys, you have your finish already? Okay, I want to check something. before we go to the next step, I want to give some tips and trick also. If you remember, let's say now I have this door, right? The ID for this door is DO003, right? Now, if I copy this door to this, let's say this place, right? If I want to check the ID, okay, now it's still DO003. Okay, let's try to multiply another one, put to here. Okay, for the default one, we want to the same size to be the same ID, right? But as we know that we can edit the what you call the door ID also through the schedule. But sometimes when you do your modeling, you want to create another type of ID automatically. Of course, you can do select and rename also, right? But they have a way to automatically generate another ID when you create your different type of window or wall or all the element that you have. To do that, you just go to, let me check under wait, let me check under more option. Okay, our environment, more option. Okay, you can see now they have assigned new element ID to each new element. This this one. Okay. Let's say I untick this one. Try to do that again. Still 003. Want to double check. Supposed to change the ID. 003. Okay. Try again. 1, 2. Okay. 003. Okay. Go again to the option, work environment, more option, sign. Okay. Okay, you can see now the idea is if you click again and create a new element ID, automatically your ID will be changed to another another ID. So you can fix the ID this by click this under option, work environment, and more option. If you tick this one, every time you create a new element, automatically the ID will be changed to the you replace to another new element ID. So if you don't want to do that, you can just untick this one. That one because of, let's say, like you have a same type of door, right? But you want to make sure the ideas will be same, so you can play from this place to to assign new element or you need or not. Okay, now it's just a teaser only. Another tip and trick before we go to the next step. Now I create my door, right? Okay, I just create another door here, and then I go to the window and I create another window. Right. Okay. And I want to do again this window to do another place. This setting, basically like the setting everything to the another place. Of course, you can use the this pickup parameter and put to another place your window, right? But they have a shortcut. You can just click W one time. Automatically, we go to the your last what you call last last thing that you do before. Just one click W only. You see now? It will automatically select the what you call the last things that you done. Okay. Now I have my building already. Now I want to create my door schedule. Okay. So now I want you to click this navigator, pop-up navigator, and under element, right click, create a new schedule. Cool. Okay, this schedule we call that as a door schedule. Okay. And click OK. After that, under element type, make sure you choose door because you want to select door only. And then under field, find just click ID. Choose this element ID. Double click. If you double click, automatically we go to your field. Okay. And then I want to put another thing called maybe like library part name. Double click this library part name and put home story. Home story name, and then the sizing. Okay, the sizing I want you to click this door and window and make sure you click this nominal W and H size, mean width and height size. Okay, double click. The last one is a quantity, QUANTITY. Sorry, quantity, double click. Okay, now I want you guys to have all this information on your schedule field, under field. Okay, I want to move a little bit. I want to move this home story to the second row of my schedule. Library part, this, okay. You guys can follow it? Okay, after that you click OK. Please let me know if you can follow or done already. Using default the schedule, of course you can create your, you can select your default the schedule. But this one I want the tutorial is, you know, if you want to create your own schedule, how to do that. You can double click the, you know, the default one. This is default, all this generate. But now you want to create our own schedule. Okay, after done, double click this the new schedule that you created before. Okay, now you have your, you know, your schedule, your schedule already. How now you want to set this schedule. If you see, I forget to put something like the, you know, the front view of your door, right? So how to add again, you know, you just click this skin setting, and then add field again, and front, just search front, maybe this 3D front view, double click, and I want to put this as at the second top. Say okay. Okay, now I have this. Okay, now I want to align this in a nice way. I just click this schedules in the, you know, they have a 3 dot there. Just click this and click OK. Okay. You guys can get that? Everybody can follow? Please let me know. I think everyone already can follow that. I go to the next step. Okay, now I want to setting up my thing before that. I want to check. Okay, you can see the style here. You even can move your style to you know, record by column or by row here if you click that one. Now I want you to choose this style as a record by column. One. Okay. I will show how to do that later. First, I want to set this something like this one. Okay. After that, under merge uniform item, I want to tick this one. And show headline. For that. I'm lost in skin certificate. Okay. Just click this skin setting. Just click the skin setting. And it will pop up this skin setting. Under field, just search 3D. And choose 3D front view to show your door how it looks like in the front view. And after that, click OK. Now you can see You guys can follow that? Okay. Okay. Now you can see now they have element ID, similar door, but different type of element ID, right? How are we gonna change that? To set every door with the same size will be have one element ID only. It's okay, Rashid. I want to show you how to fix that. Okay, how to make this, align in the correct element ID. Okay, go back to your building, your 3D building, view under F5, just click F2, or you can click this toggle here. Okay, make sure you see your building under 3D view. Okay, this one is another quick selection if you want to do that. If you click Control F, automatically it will pop up with your with the file and select. If you click Control F, under here, I want you to click this one of the window here. Of the door here, and then click this pickup and click this copy setting. Automatically it pop up with selection. And under here, you click this add and geometry. I want to pick up the height and width. You can hold control button. You can select this both too, or you can just select height, add, and width, add also can. Automatically in the front and side, it will pick up this height and width. Okay, after that, I want you to click the selection. Automatically, you select all the door that have the same height and width. Of course, you can, if you want to make more specific, you can put also the, let's say I want to put library part name, right? Automatically, you select all the door 23. Also can like that, depend on the situation. Okay, after you select all the door there, click Control T to go to the setting of the door. And from here, in the ID, change this to DOO001 and click OK. You guys can follow that? Okay. Okay, now I'll go back to my door schedule. As you can see now, all the door with this size automatically change to DO001. And another type is 003, 004. You can repeat the same method. No, you go back to the 3D view, or you can also change from the schedule. If they have a two-way to do that. But of course, if you have a simple building with a two-story, you can manually change this ID like that directly from the schedule. But if you have a 10 story of building, then it's better to use find and select. Now I want to do directly through the schedule. Okay. Now I have two type of door. door DOO001 and DOO002. This one is a single lift door. This one double lift. Okay, still. I go back to the 3D view. This find and select is very helpful. You must make sure try to understand how to do or use this. You know, you can automatically select. Okay, now you can see now I already set my criteria, right? This criteria, they have an element type, height, width, library path. Now, if I select this, you know, the double door here, let's say I select this double door, and if I click this pickup and copy setting, automatically the criteria is still there, but the sizing of the height, width, library path will be changed based on this setting or this selection. How to go to the find select? Okay, you can click Control F. Automatically, it will pop up this find and select. If you have a double screen, make sure you see another. You know, sometimes it will move this find and select to another desk view. So it's supposed to be there. Make sure you check your desktop or your screen there. It's supposed to be there. Just click Control F. But if I click Control F again, automatically it will be unpop up. And if I click again, it will pop up. It's like if you want to close or you can close this if you didn't need it. Okay. Element type door, automatically it will select the height and width type of the door. If you click this selection, automatically we select all the same type of door. And you can change that under control. We go to the setting and change the ID. You can do like that also. But at the end of the day, you can see now your schedule and your building will be automatically related. It's a link. Now I go back to my schedule. Okay. But you can see now, before, if you remember, we put the opening there. Let me check what is this. Okay, we go back to here. Okay, now this one turn to like this because we've split all the door by home story. But because this is a simple project, I don't want to split by home story. So I don't want to have this. So under skin setting, I can just remove it. Just go to the home story name and remove and click OK. Guys, you can follow that. Now you can see now we have 3 type of door, but I'm not sure why it's. Maybe I need to click this again. Let me check why it's missing. It's okay, just leave it like that first. Okay. Now under here, they have a rectangular door opening. Actually, it's an empty opening. If you remember, we put that before. I don't want to have this under my door schedule. How to remove it? Just click this skin setting and under criteria, add a new criteria put opening, just search opening. They have sorry, under element type, element ID, we just choose is not or does not contain also can. Okay, does not contain. I want to put rectangular door opening 23. Okay, and click OK. Let me check library part name. Do again. Element ID. Oh, sorry, this is my mistake. Not supposed to be the element ID. It's supposed to be the element type. It's not. Sorry. Sorry. My mistake. Library type. Because we want to pick, we don't want to pick up this library type, you know, this rectangular door opening 33. So I just copy this, copy, put to here, and delete the one that we create before. Okay, make sure under element type is door, and under library part name is does not contain the rectangular door opening 23, and click OK. Now you have two types only already. And yeah, you can do again, just resize, or you can custom that. You can move like that also if you need. It's like Excel table, you know. You can move like that also. But sometimes we want to make it all sync some. It's the same size. Okay. What maybe? Okay. Let me check. Why is this missing? They have a bug there. What? Yeah, it's supposed to show like this. Okay. Sometimes you need to refresh. Now I have it. Okay. Okay, now I have two type of door. One is a DO001 and DO002, right? The library part is this one is the name of door. So you can imagine later you can create your own library part. Just if I have the, please let me know if you can follow that. Let me find my file. Guys can follow that. How to put those back in schedule. Okay, that one is depend on your, of course you can put the spec, you can create your custom, your own spec under, you can create your own here because this is the default one. That's why you didn't see any type of classification or spec of your door there. But you can create your you know, the specific type of your classification. You can put here like now I want to put my classification, right? I can create my different type of classification. I call that maybe specification. Under property manager, sorry, create a new thing called specification. Okay, before let's say if I want to put under generating, and then maybe I can put this under we can set as a value and click OK. Oh, sorry. Before that, go to property manager under specification. Make sure your classification select all. We just use all. This classification actually you can differentiate if you want to put a specific type of classification to specific element or setting or what. But I just put to all. So after you do that, let's say I select this door, right? Under, it's quite slow. Okay, under classification, generating, you can see a new type of specification there. Then you can put your specification from here. This is one way, but they have another advanced things that you can use expression to link, automatically the, let's say the size 900 times 2100 millimeter height of wood door or double lift or single lift door, something like that. I will show you the example later. Okay. Before we read that, I just open one of the example project here. Okay. Okay, we go back to the schedule there. Guys, you guys can create this door schedule. I should design the simple one for you guys to understand that. Okay, now I want you guys to repeat the same method but create your own window. Okay, how to do that? Same thing. Just click this organizer or pop up the navigator, and under element, right click under element, create a new schedule. We call this as a window schedule. Okay, and okay. Here, okay, under element type, choose a window. Okay, because you want to pick up the window only. If you put all, it will pick up all the elements. And the criteria, I want to do the same thing. I want to put, maybe I want to create the 3D front view first. And then, I want to find the ID, element ID. Okay. And then the size. Okay. Under window door, I want to pick up the nominal width and height size. And also I want to have a quantity of my window. Okay. I just want to have this type, just for field and click OK. So if you click again your window schedule, automatically will pop up with this type of window. Okay, now repeat the same thing. I want to change the style to this type of style by column, record by column, and I want to pick the content, the size. I want this one. I want to merge now. Okay, you can see now the purpose of the merge uniform. It will automatically merge the same type of your door or windows. But you can see now why it will not merge, because the different is the ID is different. You see, every 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? You want to have the same element ID. If you remember, they have a multiple way to do that. But now because we have a simple building only, so I just directly change the window element ID from the schedule. I just find the same. This is like this one. Same. I just set this all this as a 002. Okay, this is a 003. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, but after you do that, it's not updated yet, right? So how to do update? You can just close your schedule and reopen back. Double click your Windows schedule. It's supposed to update that. Now you can see now, Windows schedule they have 3 type already. Now let's say I try to uncheck the merge uniform. Okay, we try again. Okay, you can see now, if you didn't click this one, automatically it will be didn't merge all the similar elements of your window or door. If you select this one, the merge uniform automatically it will merge. That's the idea. James just said that if you select and unselect, also automatically your schedule of your door or window or the other schedule will be automatically updated also. So now we know we have a 2-way to update your schedule. Either you can close and open back, or you can merge and unmerge. It will automatically update also. Can you show the other way to merge? What you mean other way to merge? The complicated way. Okay. Now, as you can see now, I merged by the same element ID. Yeah, same element ID. I can show you one of my example here. Okay, this is another project. Let me check. I just do the full layout only. Okay, let's say you have this type of project, right? This is a simple 2D story. 2D story of building, bungalow. Something like this one. This is simple one, but you can see now they have a multiple type of door and window right here. I want you to see how the schedule that I created, how it looks like. If I click this on the schedule, okay, we go to, let's say, the schedule, right? Double click. Okay, this is maybe it's a bit complicated. Okay, you can see now I just assign my door schedule like this one. Okay, you can see under description they have a specification there. Okay, this specification actually I create by my own. let's say I go back to my ground floor, and maybe I just select one of the door here. Let's say this is a front door. If I go there, I open the setting. Okay, under classification, you can see now I already create my own type of specification here. I call that this. I have a list of specification there. So like Rashid asked the question before, how about the specification? This is a template. You can create your own specification, you know, and assign letter to use on your building or your scheduling. But I also done something like, let's say this door, right? I even create my own type of fabric. You can see here. So I already create my own this 700 millimeter width times 300 millimeter height metal frame single leaf decoration door, and I create my own favorite so I can repeat it use later when I do my modeling. So this can be your own library part. Later also will be, but that one is later. You can create even your own type of custom door, so you know, to fix with our local requirement. Like now, in the model you can see I even have my own type of security door here. You know, the normal ARCHICAD don't have that. So later I will be teach how to create your own custom door, but that one is later. Okay. Another thing that I want to show is from here. Wait, I have my question. Can we add key to show selected handle and or iron green, since we can select handles from the setting? Means you want to what I call to show the iron grease list or schedule, right? Yes, can we do that? I normally I not do that, but it's possible to do that. Yes.
Okay, I was typing, but maybe I can just say. So
Okay.
the previews in the schedule are pretty much like just a elevation of the model. And for schedules, you actually have settings similar to an elevation. So you can set the model view options, you can set graphic overrides, etc. Unfortunately, with the schedule, you don't see the quick options bar at the bottom, which you would normally see in a plan or an elevation, but these still apply. So what I tend to recommend when you're looking at a schedule, so when you save a view, then you can set which model view option and which graphic override, etc., is used for that schedule. To change it, then you probably just need to open up the quick options palette rather than having, because the bar is not available for the schedule. But these still apply to a schedule view.
Yeah. How about the iron grease? Can we show the list of handles?
So with the
Schedule.
handle, normally this is at a higher detail, and normally the model view options turns these off because it's often too much for an elevation. So we would just need to modify the model view option to create one that is more detailed, that actually shows the handles. Yeah. And when you're looking at the schedule, you would then use this more detailed model view option.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, James. Okay. I want to show you how you can, you know, you like James said before, we can even do the blank you know, this 3D front view to input the material there. We can custom by set the what you call the graphic override, not to show the the material of your door or window. How to do that? Go under here. You can create your special graphic override. But let me check if I can use the default one first. If can, under Windows schedule, you can. Okay, let me check. If I change this to simplified. Okay. Okay, we go back here again. Yeah. Before that, let me click this. You can see now the scale here. The scale, it can be fixed to scale that you set, or you can set to fit also can. The idea is you can change your scale of your front view either to fit or to fit to the specific scale that you have, or you can set all to fix to 1 to 100. And also, if you click this annotate here, the default one, of course, don't have any dimension. You can edit that. Let's say now the add automatic dimension. Automatically, you can see now it will pop up with this dimension. Yeah. If you select this, make sure to select the view first, and then click this add automate dimension. Automatically, it pop up with this dimension. And of course, under dimension, you can setting the line distance, the below right, of course. But another thing that you can do is, let's say now I select this window, right? Yeah, if I click this annotate, sometimes I want to show, the distance from the ground level or floor level. So I can even add more. Let's say now I want to add more, and if you know the height from the floor level to the windows, also you can put there like that. And after I click OK, it's supposed to come out like that. But now you can see the what called the sizing like that. Now I can put this as a top. So if you put like that, automatically later all your window will be follow it will be more accurate in terms of the viewing when you do your windows there. Like this schedule, you can see now the schedule. Maybe I open my window schedule here. Okay, now sometimes I want to show the floor level there, so we know that how much the height from floor level to the window there. Even here you can see now it turn to various. You can do that because the same size, but they have a different various of the height from the floor level. So I can do manually like that also. Through just select that, annotate, and they say like this dimension, like I can do something like select this text and customize to put under, let's say, various VAR, let's say, right there, and click OK. So return to various, something like that. But that one is quite deep, it's not too deep, but at the end of the day, you can know that you can even customize your dimension or anything. You even can create something like you want to put, usually in the window we want to have something like this, something like that as a reference as a glass, right? If you click OK, now it will pop up like that also. Now, okay. Do you have another question? Okay, another thing I want to highlight also that this schedule is not just for door and window. You can do for another thing also, like let's say now I do some and before that I go to the building here. Okay, you can see here if I go to inside the building, I have, you see, type of even I create my own socket here. I even can create my schedule for this all the things here. Let's say now I do some, I go to this is supposed to be under object. Now switch socket. Okay, let's click. This is by symbol. Okay, let's say like this one, right? You can see now I already create my own type of, if you remember under custom GDL object, we can create our own 2D view and different 3D view, right? That's the same thing I done now. Let's say I select this socket double, and if I click this 3D view, automatically we select all the socket only. You can see now. This is a double socket. Supposed to be like this one, yeah. You see? So you can apply the schedule for your object also. Even if you have a, now I have a finisher, right? I can split by finisher. So you see now, I do some selection by different type of tile. You see now, I have do the maybe I just, you see, non-slip ceramic floor tile, differentiate by floor finisher CR, CT1, CT2, LT. If you go to my setting of my scheme setting, you can see now, I put the description, floor finish tile title, you see, floor finish tile title. I even can, I just select one of the element here. Okay, wait, go back to here. Make sure show all the 3D views, and okay, go back to here. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay, I just select one of the floor here. Let's see. Okay, this floor, right? In here under oh, sorry, it's supposed to be under zone. That's why I cannot see that. I just open zone. We go back to the floor tile finishes. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's say this one, right? Because now I differentiate the finishes by zone, because in zone sometimes it's more detail in terms of this one, right? Say like the finishes, you can put your floor finishes, what type of your floor finishes, wall finisher, the ceiling finisher. So from here, I even can link this type of this type of finishes to my schedule. Yeah. I have another question before that. Because for this we have 2 hours only. I even don't have time to show. Let's see now you can even create your own type of let's see, your finishes. Yeah, you can even create your object finishes also. And now we're going to yeah, you can Mr. Lu, you can like I say, you can create you can create your own specification when you or if you have specific manufacturer or that you can under there you can even put your detail in terms of the specification, your manufacturer, sometimes maybe see like this one. Let's say this is if I go to 3D view, okay, I have this originally in ARCHICAD we don't have this type of store, right? So if you have if your different manufacturer that have a specification, you can insert the specification under classification and properties. Now the specification I set for this type of door is like this only. I just create a new specification, the core aluminium frame decoration door with fixed glass window on top, manufacturer detail. Or I have this metal frame single leaf decorative panel louvers with door. This thing you can create. This is important because if you have later, if we have our own template, we can repeat it, this or combine. If we have another new library, we can create our own classification and set as a standard template for everyone. How do you do all tile finishing zone when our wall tile is only 7 feet height and not full height? Do wall tile finish in zone. Okay, they have a two way. Okay. Now I show one of the example here. If you remember, we have we call that what I call the composite when you do your, let's say, your wall, right? So I show you an example here. This is let's say I have my this type of maybe this wall. Okay, if you see the height, the tile of the from to the wall is not until top, right? It's just we have a gap there. Sometimes in the room in the house, certain house they create a until the center of the wall only. So this one also you can do your scheduling, but it's under we call this under maybe by component or surfaces, defined by surfaces. So you will select under wall, you just select the surface only. They have type of surface name, but in the wall only. So we select that surface only as a material for your scheduling. But maybe later if I have a time, I will show you can create another session to do that. But I think we don't have time to show today. Okay, for toilet example, okay. Another type of toilet, right? I show you, let's say, I put under object inventory. Oh, sorry. I even create my own schedule for, let me check, about planning, some error. this is the schedule for toiletries. Okay, you can see here. You even can create your own type of schedule for your object or toiletry or anything. Let's say now I just create this Mocha map 8050A single, right? If I select this one, I click this 3D view. Oh, sorry, I just marking this. I need to unmark first. Okay, I go back to here. Select, let's say I want to see this. This I created because the default one don't have all the Mocha type of the basin here. But you can see here, you can even scheduling your object that you created before. This is a Mocha type with the tabletop there. You can list it on your schedule also. Even this, I even custom my specification by element ID, so it's easier for me to do my scheduling. Even type tab, if you have a special tab that you have, can you see? This is Mocha MAB. I have three. If I click this one, I need to pick that one first. Okay. Okay, I go to, let's say like this. Okay. You see, even as we know that under complex profile, we can create our own wall, something like this one. I have, this different type of surfaces, right? This line, tiles with this another different type of tile. You can create that also for your own surfaces scheduling purpose, to know the quantity of your tiles, your wall tile or your floor tile. You need to share the location where you get the library part for the sanitary. Okay, like I said, Gary, if you remember, we have a GDL course before, if you remember. In here, I create my own what you call type of maybe a furniture. You see, let me check. Where is it? Actually, I create my own GDL object. It's under library, custom. Okay, you can see now. I select this one. Yeah, you see, I just create a new object called Basin Double P10 Mocha. I even didn't download to any place, I just modeling by myself using ARCHICAD and set the classification of properties, all the even the the classification, where is it under pipe fitting set what classification, and then I define just by basin double P10, so it's easier for me when I do the scheduling. I will define by library part name. If I pick up library part name, put under schedule, it will be choose this as a name of the object that I created before. Specific brand is not taken from. Yes, Gary. One of the project I done before, they use Mocha as a specific brand. I of course you can, if the supplier have a SketchUp model or another 3D modeling, you can download from their website or what and save as an object to ARCHICAD, or you can directly use put to ARCHICAD, and then you can do quantification later. No, Gary, I just create my own. Because usually supplier, that's why we need to educate all the supplier to create their own library also, for so easier for us to put to the model, let's actually have to, yes, Jessica. If some of them they have like IKEA, IKEA, they have their own 3D type of 3D model of your object. So you can imagine if all the manufacturer have different type or they have their own 3D model, you can even map to the project in the in the nice way like we see now. And the good thing about ARCHICAD is, as we know, ARCHICAD can read most of the major type of format of object in the world, right? Like SketchUp, even 3D Max. If the object in the 3D Max. So we don't care as long as they have a 3D, just take from there and put to ARCHICAD. Okay. Now later maybe we can discuss about this. You as architect can push all the manufacturer to create their own object. If they don't know how to do that, you can do that for them, but you charge lah. Some of the client that I facing before, they even charge for the creating the object. You think like Rocker or JSoup can download from website? Yeah, you see, like Mr. Rashid say that you can even download the Rocker or JSoup object and put to your ARCHICAD and create your schedule. Just as simple as that. Even you see now, maybe I show you another example. I think that's one of the example. Do you have another question before we close our session? Because we exceed the time already. Hopefully you guys can do, because of course this is a simple way, but you can do something more detailed like this project, when you do your design or model. So at the end of the day, I think we must do this. We must start from from this thing, because it will help you to produce your project or your drawing more faster in this way than you do manually in the 2D and need to manually do your scheduling then. Okay, can you show us how do you download supplier object? It depends on the supplier. If they have 3D model, then you just can download and drag to ARCHICAD. Just as simple as that. Maybe I try to find if IKEA they have something 3D. IKEA 3D. Just to. You see, sometimes in 3D warehouse also, but you must make sure before you see, you can download like that one also. Just download and drag to ARCHICAD. You can do like that. But make sure before you drag, because sometimes in this SketchUp file, they have a lot of ghosts, the unnecessary things inside there. Make sure you push and clean first before you put to ARCHICAD. If not, sometimes the file will be, can create your file more bigger, and then because of a lot of unnecessary things inside there. Okay, I try to find Roca. Actually, Roca. Let's say we have Roca type of Roca Malaysia. Okay. I think Asa Abloh also they have their own 3D type of object. Okay, maybe click this. Okay, let's see the bar. I see some of them they have their own library already. I think maybe don't have. Don't have. You just have a 3D picture only. Okay, Mr. Rashid give some link there. I'll just try to open that. You can see now this is one of our example here. Maybe I choose some roca, maybe. This is pay or not? Need to pay or not for the object? No, nothing. Maybe we can try another thing. Right? Okay, you can see at least some of the virtual you can just, let's say this Microsoft, right? Okay, just register and download. And like I say in ARCHICAD, you just drag only. After you have the file from ARCHICAD, under 2D view, find your file. Let's say I have my special file called maybe, let's say like this, or maybe not this one. This is example. You just, after you have the file, just drag like that and move. Just as simple as that. Or you can just go file and under library and object. You can link under library manager also. Means if you have a special folder, all the object inside there, right? You just link the folder to this library part. Select the folder that you have and choose. Automatically, the everything in the object in the folder will be go to ARCHICAD also. Okay, I think you can close it now. Last question before I close this session. Do you have another question? 3, 2, 1. I think okay, nice. Hopefully it will help you a little bit, about the fundamentals of doing your modeling or design. See you around later. Maybe I need to pass back the session to James. James, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, but no need to pass it back. So thanks everyone for joining.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye-bye. See you again later. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah.